Welcome to this video. In the second edition of Techniques in Principle in Language Teaching by Diane Larson Freeman, the author talked about the different methods of language learning acquisition. In this video, I'm going to point out the grammar translation method. So the grammar translation method is not new. It has had different names, but it has been used by language teachers for many years. At one time, it was called the classical method, since it was first used in the teaching of classical language, Latin and Greek. So what was its purpose? Earlier in this century, this method was used for the purpose of helping students read and appreciate foreign language literature. It was also hoped that through the study of the grammar of the target language, the students will become more familiar with the grammar of their native language, and that familiarity will help them speak and write their native language better. Finally, it was thought that foreign language learning will help students grow intellectually. It was recognized that students will probably never use the target language, but the mental exercise of learning it will be beneficial anyway. So in order to understand in a better way the principle of a grammar translation method, we are going to answer some questions. The first one is, what is the role of a teacher and what is the role of the students? So in the grammar translation method, the roles are very traditional. The teacher is the authority in the classroom. The student do as she said or as he said. They learn how they teach. Most of the interaction in the classroom is from the teacher to the students. There is a little interaction and initiation of students. It means that there is a little student interaction. The other question is, what are some characteristics of a teaching learning process? So students are taught to translate from one language to another. Often what they translate are written in the target language community. As students study grammar deductively. That means that they are given the grammar rules and examples, and they have to apply them in a different case. They also learn grammatical patterns such as verb conjugations. They memorize native language equivalents for the target language vocabulary words. So another question is, what areas of language are emphasized and what language skill are emphasized? So the answer is that vocabulary and grammar are emphasized. Reading and writing are the primary skills that students work on. There is much less attention given to speaking and listening, and pronunciation receive little or any attention. So there are some useful techniques associated with the grammar translation method. We can see some of these techniques. As you can read, we have the translation of literary passage, anthonyms and synonyms, also cognates, and reading comprehension questions, and as I said before, deductive application of rules of the target language and memorization of some of them. Here we have some examples. As you can see in the word translation, the teacher provides a list of words in the target language and students should translate those words into their native language. Another example is the antonyms and synonyms. These words all have antonyms in the reading passage, and you have to find the antonyms for each. This is the statement. As you can see, we have the word love, ugly, noisy, and proudly. So, as a matter of fact, this kind of exercise about anthonyms and synonyms and cognates are very useful when you are translating two different languages that share some words in common. For example, English and Spanish. Then we have some rules of the target language and memorizations. Let's read. It said, state the rule for the use of a direct object with to, word verb, and apply it to other phrasal verb. And then memorize them the remaining vocabulary items and write sentence for each. So now you have an overview about this incredible method and you can start exploring a little bit more. That's very much about the grammar translation method. Thank you so much.